It is a country long shrouded in mystery. A kingdom that was closed off to most of the outside world for 87 years. What the world thinks it knows is a country that's the largest exporter of oil on the planet. But beyond the expected stereotype of deserts, camels, and oil wells, it has human history dating back over 300,000 years, filling its monumental landscapes, fertile mountains, and vast seacoasts, with lost artifacts and forgotten empires, and a surprisingly diverse culture, influenced by foreign traders and religious pilgrims who have been coming here for thousands of years. This is truly one of the last frontiers of travel, as almost every destination has been barely explored for decades, or not explored at all. And as the country begins to open, new discoveries are made every time and everywhere you visit. It is at once a brave old world, and suddenly, a brave new world. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is Hidden Saudi Arabia. The Arabian Peninsula has long been a crossroads for religious pilgrims, ancient trade routes, and even migrations of early humans, as it sits at the border between the African and Asian continents. Occupying 80% of the Arabian Peninsula, Saudi Arabia has over 1,400 miles of coastline, bounded by the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aqaba to the west, and the Persian Gulf to the east. It is also bordered by Jordan, Iraq, and Kuwait to the north, and Yemen, Oman, the Emirates, Qatar, and Bahrain to the south and east. And it was this strategic location between land and sea that spawned many ancient empires and bloody battles to control valuable trade routes. Around 1000 BC, the demand for frankincense, an aromatic resin from a tree only found in southern Arabia and Somalia, created a network of inland trade routes across Arabia known as the Incense Trail. At its peak, it's estimated that 3,000 tons of incense were transported across this route every year, to be used in religious ceremonies and to mask the odor of sewage in many Roman cities. By the 1st century AD, trade picked up between India, Rome, and the Greek kingdom in Egypt via the Silk Road, an overland and maritime trade route through the Red Sea that was used for nearly 1,500 years. Its name is taken from the prized textile that flowed from Asia to the Middle East. But many other commodities were traded along the route, including knowledge and culture, which greatly influenced the future kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I start my journey in Jeddah, where most international travelers have entered this country over the years, as it's the main gateway to the holiest cities of Islam, Mecca and Medina. You could say that tourism first started here in Saudi Arabia, as Muslims from around the world have been making pilgrimages through Jeddah for nearly 1,400 years. But the holy cities aren't the only reason Jeddah has become the second largest city in Saudi Arabia and its commercial center. The local prevailing winds also made Jeddah a valuable seaport. Monsoon winds to the south brought in large sailing ships on the Silk Road from India, but prevailing winds from the north prevented them from traveling further up the coast, so they would anchor in Jeddah to transfer their cargo into smaller wooden dhows that could navigate further north and west to Egypt. Today, you'll find more modern vessels. The Jeddah Islamic Port brings in over 5,000 ships a year and has a new cruise ship port that welcomes thousands of visitors every week, making it the second busiest port in the Middle East. And once on shore, Your options for transportation are much greater than they were just 100 years ago, when the only reliable choice for long-distance travel was the ship of the desert. Camels were first domesticated right here on the Arabian Peninsula, about 3,000 years ago, enabling early Arabs to master the deserts of the Middle East. Today, camels and their products are still bought and sold at camel markets, and the largest camel festival in the world, which also includes a beauty pageant for camels. They say beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I just didn't see it. Samuel Shropshire is an American expat with a much different take on camels. And he's invited me to a camel farm just outside of Jeddah for a proper introduction. So, where are you originally from?
I grew up in North Georgia in a small town called Jefferson, population 1,800, and I always dreamed about having a camel. I collected camels, toy camels, from very small to very big. Some of them I got in a Cracker Jack box. Because
whoa, you see, camels to me are angry, mean animals that spit, and he just spit at me.
No, he got water on his...
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can stand over here?
Yeah. These animals love people. They've grown with people. They've gone with traders for thousands of years. Carry these heavy bags all across the desert, all the way to China.
Traders quickly discovered camels were the perfect pack animal for the desert. They could go without water for 3 days, surviving on nothing but the thorns and leaves of bitter desert plants, and travel 30 miles a day while carrying over 600 pounds for weeks on end. So it's no surprise that a little day-old bread will get you a lot of goodwill with a camel. That changes the metrics.
Yeah.
You got one for me?
Yeah, here you go.
You came equipped.
Hey. A little bit of a kiss.
Okay, I get the garlic croissant. Okay, here we go. Who wants that? There you go. Oh, yeah. They take it from your mouth very gently.
Yeah, they're very kind.
There you go. Wait, oh, hold on.
They like to be hugged. Right?
Really? Let's see. Like this? Yes. In all my years, I never thought I'd be hugging a camel. These animals certainly aren't mean. And I haven't really seen one spit.
Isn't that good?
You good? You good? But they definitely do smell. Yep. Now we're going to do 3 baths tonight. It's okay. Getting up close and personal with a camel may not be for everybody. But their milk is very popular, with Saudis consuming over 300 million gallons each year.
This is as fresh as it gets, Peter. Fresh milk. Alhamdulillah, from a professional milker.
Let's see. We got some milk in there.
Got some milk?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Samuel is definitely a fan, and I'm okay with him doing a little taste test first.
I keep hearing people tell me it's salty, but it tastes sweet.
It does taste sweet.
It's good stuff. Full of vitamins.
Full of something. The camel's milk was just an appetizer. For the main course, I headed back into Jeddah and over to Souk Bab Makkah, where you can find almost anything you want. Lots of fruits and vegetables, fresh butchered meat, even small sticks that the Bedouins use as toothbrushes. Saudi souks are always full of energy and a hands-on, face-to-face experience. My favorite part? The haggling, which is a time-honored Arab tradition. The first price a vendor quotes may be twice the actual value. Hello. So if you don't want to pay a hefty price for your purchase, you're going to have to play the game. Tomato.
1 kilo, 5 riyal.
Really?
1 kilo, 5 riyal.
3.
5 riyal.
3. Oh, 2? In the end, you should be prepared to just walk away, because sometimes that could be the strongest play. What was that? What was that? What did you say?
No.
No, still 5?
No.
Okay. And sometimes it isn't. Okay, I heard it. But every so often, Saudi generosity trumps all. Nice. With no haggling required. What, for me? One for me? I can take? Whoa.
Yes,
Really good. The souk is just inside Bab Makkah, one of the 4 main gates from the old city of Jeddah, and a historic gateway for pilgrims on their way to the holy city of Mecca, just 50 miles to the east. These gates were part of a wall built around the city in the 16th century to ward off Portuguese warships and potential invaders. A unique style of architecture developed inside the walled city. But these tall, multi-story houses of coral stone and plaster, adorned with teak doorways and latticework balconies, are disappearing under the pressure of modern development. However, Jeddah's historic walled city, now known as AlBad, still contains more than 300 of these historic buildings, which are similar in style, but still unique. As you walk the narrow alleyways, you'll discover that some doors are more ornate than others, as they were a source of pride for the wealthier owners. The intricate lattice window coverings, called Roshan, didn't just provide necessary ventilation, but in many cases, necessary privacy. Cool breezes and daylight could enter, but outsiders unable to see in. To protect this disappearing Hijazi style, AlBad was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and more than 50 buildings are currently being restored. But this designation is not just protecting the architecture, it's preserving a way of life. For centuries, this historic city has thrived as a resource for pilgrims on their way to the holy city. And today, you can still find anything you need in one of the more than 1,300 shops. But down this alley, you can find something even more valuable: knowledge. It's the home base for local artist and designer Ahmed Angawi. He's created a space to help his community reconnect with the traditional crafts of AlBad. And his workshop is open for anyone to stop by and learn from the masters.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
Hey, Ahmed, how are you, man?
Good. How you doing?
Wow, this is incredible stuff.
Oh, pleasure to have you here.
But this is a piece of history.
Yes, it is. This is an old piece in one of the old houses. This has been a focus of my studies and work regarding the old history of AlBad.
This piece of intricate woodwork is called manjur, which is part of the Roshan latticework that I've seen on the historic houses here in AlBad. But what makes this piece really interesting is how it was put together. So the genius is not to do the nails and not to do the glue.
Yes, we call this joint, it's like a technique. In Arabic, we call ashiq wa ma'shuq, which is, if you translate in English, love and beloved, which is a live joint.
They come together.
They come together.
Like this?
Yes. So this, for example, this piece here.
So no glue.
This is no glue.
No nails.
No nails. You can come
Oh,
out.
wow.
Like this.
But you have to have a precise fit.
Of course.
Wow.
And what I'm hoping to do here is to really focus on the craftsman, the maker of those pieces.
But today, there aren't any craftsmen that still make this type of manjur. So Ahmed has had to backward engineer the design from the old pieces he's collected and then develop a technique to share with others here at his workshop, ensuring the traditional crafts of AlBad can be carried on.
That doesn't mean that we don't have our own craftsmen. Doesn't mean that we have our own culture. My grandfather, from my father's side, he's a woodworker as well.
So that's where it started.
I think so. I do believe in genetic memory. You just need a bit of rub to remember.
But it all starts with a basic knowledge.
Definitely. And I think that's important to develop here, to enable the community in AlBad of maker, either by drawing a piece of geometry or developing an artwork.
Well, there's geometry, and then there's art.
Yes.
This is both.
Definitely. And I think geometry involves everywhere, in the bodies, in nature, in woodwork and craft.
And it fits.
Perfectly.
Not bad. The woodwork he's created is beautiful. But there's much more to discover here in Al-Balad. After dark, it becomes less about work and more about play. And this group gathers every evening to take part in some friendly competition.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, guys. I'm okay, but I think you're going to kill me.
I got your
Dominoes,
back.
right?
Yes,
Dominoes.
it's Dominoes.
All right, let's do it. Dominoes were first mentioned in Chinese literature almost 1,000 years ago,
Seven.
but they may have been an Arab tradition even longer than that. Okay, nobody sees what I got. Which means I have a significant disadvantage here.
So we had
I'm going to lose, aren't I?
No, I got your back, inshallah.
You got my back? No, you don't have my back, inshallah. You have my back.
It's always inshallah.
Inshallah means God willing in Arabic. But in my case, I'm afraid he may not be. Whose turn?
The hand دورك.
This one here?
Yeah, this is it.
Where do you want me to put it?
Put it there.
Right there?
Yes.
What did he say? What
He
did he
said,
say?
I'm playing with him, not with you.
And even with Ahmed's help, it's not looking good. Oh, wait a minute. What about my turn? What?
He won.
I don't like him. I don't like him. So I'll try again to see if I can redeem myself. I like this part. There you go. Oh, sorry, right there. Oh, show off. Now I'm thinking that a more aggressive style might increase my chances. And here we go. Oh, Allah. But as the call to prayer begins, it looks like I may not have one. Over there? Oh, I see. Wait a minute, what? Again? Come over here. That's the call to prayer? I pray never to play against you again because I can't win.
He said either pray and then play.
Oh, you have to pray first.
And then play.
After 2 straight losses, I think I'm done. Winner, loser. But Ahmed wants me to make one more stop at the Angawi House. It's his childhood home, designed by his father, which has now become a living museum.
Please, come in.
It's an incomparable homage to Hijazi architectural style.
Watch your head.
And this 300-year-old front door is just the beginning. This place is amazing.
Thank you. This is my source of inspiration. My father, Dr. Sami Angawi.
Doctor, nice to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you.
A nice small place you have here.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, the light, unbelievable.
This is part of the thing I'm trying to do is mix nature with architecture. Architecture is static, nature is dynamic. So the two of them work together. They balance each other.
The incredible beauty of the Angawi House is the culmination of 40 years of work and a lifetime of studying architecture around the world, including the University of London and Harvard University in the United States. But Dr. Angawi's passion is for preserving this local Hijazi architectural style, which, like himself, has many multicultural influences.
It's the collective of the Muslim world. It's where everything came from everywhere and mixed together.
Is it because of all the pilgrims who came through here and what they brought?
Yes, what we brought and who stayed. Many didn't go back. So this is reflecting that. The floor is a mixture between Syria and Morocco, and the pool is Persian carpet. The front side is a mixture between a Mamluk and Moroccan. So I put this whole thing together. It's like, you have a different instrument.
You're building the orchestra.
The orchestra, yeah. This is the orchestra, and this architecture in many ways the music of the eyes. So the music of the ears, it passes by you, you hear it. But the music of the eyes, you have to go over it.
You have to see it. If architecture is music for the eyes, then this house is Beethoven's Symphony No. 5. A bold, innovative composition that celebrates all the influences of the Muslim world, past and present. With his informed and thoughtful design, Dr. Angawi has created a beautiful environment that is open to anyone who comes to visit.
Alhamdulillah, still not finished because
I know it's still not finished. You're never going to be finished. Well, look at me. Are you ever going to be finished?
when
See, there you go. Here, let's see.
Please.
Although their work may never be finished, Dr. Angawi and his son are securing the legacy of this unique Hijazi style, which is built with the same Red Sea coral that led to Jeddah's rise as the gateway to Mecca. 1,150 miles of coral reefs parallel Saudi Arabia's Red Sea coast, supporting over 1,200 species of fish, 10% of which are considered unique to the Red Sea, as well as 200 types of colorful corals and almost a dozen different species of sharks, making these reefs a great destination for both fishermen and divers. These 5,000-year-old reefs also created a treacherous barrier for ships trying to navigate these waters. But halfway up the coast, there's a natural gap, which allowed access to Jeddah's shores and established the city as a major seaport almost 1,400 years ago. Today, 300 miles north of Jeddah, there's something new and exciting rising up around the coral reefs. The Red Sea Project, led by CEO John Pagano, is creating a new type of barefoot luxury experience for travelers from around the world in a beautiful but barely visited region of the country.
Take a look at this water, look at these islands. Gorgeous. And you can look down, that's coral. Oh yeah.
Covering over 10,000 square miles of land and sea, an area the size of Massachusetts. The Red Sea Project has a lot more than just coral, including an archipelago of 90 once hidden, unexplored islands, stunning deserts, and prehistoric mountains. Although this project won't be fully open until 2030, John was happy to take me for a tour of this massive work in progress, which includes housing for over 10,000 workers, an international airport, and 14 different island hotels that will be opening over the next few years.
So these are our beach villas that we have. You can see them now being built along the island.
Wow, a lot of construction.
But all of this is off-site. The units are being manufactured in Switzerland. They put them into containers, they send them to us, and then we assemble them. So we're trying to use off-site manufacturing as much as possible.
And all this development is happening simultaneously?
Yes.
Wow.
Simultaneously building 16 hotels across thousands of square miles, with many on isolated islands and all completely off the grid, is no easy task. And they've chosen to build in a way that preserves the natural environment, which has forced them to make some challenging decisions about how and where they develop this region. To better understand their decision-making process, John took me by boat to one of the most important islands in the project, so we can get boots on the ground, or in this case, bare feet in the sand. Wow, this is great.
Welcome to Al-Wakadi.
And when you first came here, I mean, what did you think?
I thought, fantastic. I've got the perfect resort. I'm gonna make a ton of money on this island because I think it's gonna be a must-go, must-see place.
Slam dunk.
Slam dunk, yeah? But then we discovered that this island is an important favored nesting site for the critically endangered hawksbill sea turtle. And I was faced with a terrible dilemma.
Hawksbill sea turtles are an important part of coral ecosystems, but their numbers have declined 80% over the past century due to the loss of nesting areas and critical coral habitats, which is often caused by coastal development.
At the end of the day, it was a very easy decision for us. We're not going to develop this island.
It stays the way it is.
It stays the way it is. We're going to
Turtles,
protect this.
but no condos.
Exactly. Turtles, but no condos. A great turn of phrase.
The Red Sea Project has designated Al-Wakadi and 2 other islands as nature preserves to protect the most ecologically sensitive areas. And only 22 of the 90 islands in this archipelago will ever be developed, helping to ensure the natural integrity of this region.
we're not in it for the short-term profit. We're in it for the long run. And we've set ourselves the ambition and the goal of actually increasing the conservation value over the coming decades. So not just maintaining the status quo, but actually improving the destinations.
If the Red Sea project can achieve these goals, then they're providing access to this hidden region of Saudi Arabia with truly guilt-free travel. Coral reefs aren't the only thing that parallels Saudi Arabia's hidden Red Sea coast. On shore, there are two mountain ranges running north and south from Jeddah. The Hijaz Mountains to the north are warm and dry, as you might expect on the Arabian Peninsula. But the Assir Mountains to the south are an unexpected surprise. With their highest peak rising over 10,000 feet, these lush mountains have more rain and a cooler climate than the rest of Saudi Arabia. Carpeted with juniper trees and terraced agricultural fields, these mountains are often cloaked in fog as the moist air from the Red Sea pushes over their peaks, creating lush canyons with cool streams, and something else you'd never expect to find in Saudi Arabia: waterfalls. But waterfalls, forest, and fog aren't the only surprises you'll find here.
Let me see if I get this straight. You're a single woman from California, never traveled out of the country. You got a job offer to be a management consultant, and it's in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
And you showed up.
Yes.
Did your friends think you were crazy?
Of course, yes.
Do they still think you're
we
crazy?
still do, yes.
When Alma Valenzuela first arrived in 2018, Saudi Arabia didn't sound very inviting for expats, or for that matter, women. The country was still closed to all foreign tourists, plus women had to follow strict dress codes and were forbidden from certain activities, including driving. But that didn't prevent Alma from falling in love with the kingdom and its natural wonders.
This is one of the places that I love to come hiking on a weekend.
And what do they call this trail?
Aqaba al-Qudun.
And what does that stand for?
It actually stands for dangerous horns.
Why are you laughing?
Because I'm going to take you all the way down to the
Oh, all right, let's go.
The joke may be on me, as it's almost 14 miles all the way down to the historic village of Riyadh Lama. That's a little more than what I signed up for. But this landscape is so unexpected, you have to push on.
It's really beautiful up here.
Yeah, it is. Weather's great, too.
Look at that.
Yeah, Spanish moss, right?
Who knew?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so green here.
Well, every afternoon, without fail, the mist and the fog comes through.
Every afternoon?
Without fail, yep. So that's why it stays green.
In Saudi Arabia?
Exactly, yeah.
These foggy forests are filled with juniper trees draped in moss and are a favorite hangout for groups of local Hamadryas baboons. But what you won't find up here is other people, as few visitors have discovered this gem. Not that Alma hasn't tried to spread the word about the unique beauty of Saudi Arabia, especially to her friends in America.
But your friends still won't come see you.
I know they won't.
And why?
I suppose some may think it's dangerous, but it's not. I mean, the dangerous thing here is just watching my step here. And you should too.
So I gotta watch my step?
Yes.
Watch out for the baboons.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
And they're everywhere, yes.
They're friendly?
And don't feed them.
Oh, don't feed them.
No, because they'll come find you again for more food.
Welcome to Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
It's still quite a few miles down to the end of the trail, but if your legs are strong, you can make it by foot. However, if your stomach is stronger, you can try driving the winding mountain roads to the historic village of Riyadh Lama. Once a thriving center for trade, today the old stone houses look more like a ghost town. But some of the residents still remain.
Hello.
Welcome, Peter.
Including Ibrahim Fatih,
Ibrahim.
who grew up here in the village where his family has been living for over 300 years. It once was a thriving community with bustling markets, that were an important stop for pilgrims making their way north to Mecca. But by the end of the 20th century, most of the villagers had disappeared.
So what happened?
One day, the water dry up and the jobs dry up, and the people left from this village.
And they never came back?
No, they never came back.
The abandoned homes fell into disrepair. But the remaining villagers were committed to preserving the local culture. In 2017, they began working to restore the crumbling forts that have been a part of this village for over 600 years. Repairing traditional stonework, bringing in lumber to replace decaying woodwork, and restoring the traditional artwork inside the majlis, rooms that were used for receiving guests.
So they wanted to get the culture back?
Yeah, culture back.
The heritage back?
The heritage back. And this is one of our culture here.
Cool.
Ibrahim is a descendant of ancient tribes from this region that are known for their colorful clothing and floral crowns, earning them the nickname Flower Men. Their floral crowns are made by hand, using different plants depending on the age and needs of the artist. And many of these headpieces speak to the character of the men who wear them.
You show yourself what the people are wearing.
You're strong,
yeah,
you're
strong,
young,
I'm young,
and you're happy.
I am happy. Also, I can marry.
I can get married.
Yeah, I can marry.
What if you are married?
You can marry too.
I can marry too.
Another one. This is for you. Another one.
Wow.
For you.
Although the headpieces are an iconic part of the Flower Man culture, these tribes may be best known for their amazing combat skills, which secured their independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1825, when 50,000 Ottoman soldiers assembled to take the small village of Ral Lama, but were soundly defeated by the outnumbered Assyri tribes. Even the houses in this village, which the locals call forts, were designed to provide protection. Thick stone walls made them nearly impregnable, and their unique design didn't stop there.
Watch your head. The doors are short here.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Why so short?
We had a lot of forts here. We had to protect ourselves. You're first.
And watch my head.
Watch your head, please.
You're not kidding. Whoa.
Small doors made it harder for invaders to gain entry in the past.
Watch your head again.
Yeah, again.
But today, the residents of Ral Lama welcome every visitor into their village and their homes.
Wow. Now you can see how big this village really was.
No, how big the village still is.
There's incredible history throughout Saudi Arabia, with some of the oldest and most significant sites found 800 miles northwest of Ral Lama, in Alula. Here you'll find Saudi Arabia's first UNESCO World Heritage Site. Sometimes called the sister city of Petra in Jordan, Mada Salah is an ancient Nabatean city from a lost kingdom dating back to the 1st century AD. These ancient tombs are just the tip of the iceberg, as over 27,000 archaeological sites have been identified so far in this region. One of the latest sites to be excavated is the ancient city of Dadan, the capital of the Dadanite and Lahyanite kingdoms that controlled this region for nearly 1,000 years. It sits at the foot of red sandstone mountains that contain one of the more well-known sites, the Lion Tombs, which date back to the 5th century BC and are named for the massive carvings adorning the entrance. The latest discoveries are being made down in the valley, so I caught a ride into the site with Dr. Rebecca Foote, the Director of Archaeology and Cultural Heritage Research for the Royal Commission for Alula.
So where are we going?
We're going up to what's been interpreted as a temple.
Although the ancient city was strategically placed along the inland spice and incense trading routes to Mesopotamia and Egypt, it abruptly disappeared over 2,000 years ago. In 2020, a multinational archaeological team was assembled to uncover its mysteries. But the site is so large that only a small portion has been excavated so far.
So chances are we could be walking on something right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Should we start digging?
Under controlled conditions.
Oh, wow. It just appeared.
Yeah, it's carved out of a single stone.
One piece?
And would have been a basin, so it seems.
And the significance?
It's been thought to be related to some sort of ritual cleansing, maybe before going into the temple that it's next to.
Could be indoor plumbing.
Could be.
Just a thought. Can we get closer?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's go.
With little written history, it can be challenging to decipher the story of these ruins. But they have discovered a few clues.
Here, as you can see, there's a lot of writing from various periods.
Oh, yeah. But they weren't tagging this the way people tag buildings today. They were telling a story.
Yes, in some ways. In some places, it's just someone's name.
So when you're saying we're just at the beginning, you're not kidding.
Definitely just the beginning. Every day we learn something, and there's, as you can tell, it's just a fraction of what's here has been revealed. And so it'll be well beyond both our lifetimes before this whole city is revealed.
Before we discover the whole secret.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though the fate of these ancient kingdoms is still unclear, there's no question about why they built their cities here. To really understand what makes this such a desirable location, you'll need to head up into the sandstone mountains above the ancient cities to take it all in. Although an ATV will get you there, it can be a hot, bumpy ride. But once you discover the Sea of Green, you can head down into the cool shade of Oasis Alula. According to local folklore, there are 80 natural springs in the oasis that have provided water to the region for millennia. Date palms were introduced more than 2,000 years ago when the Lahianites implemented sophisticated irrigation systems and brought agriculture to Alula. Today, there are over 2 million date palms, and farmers maximize production by planting fruit trees under the palms, enabling this oasis to produce 29 varieties of fruit. Mohammed Al-Jud's family has been farming in the Al-Ula oasis for over 100 years. But more recently, they started a traditional date palm plantation.
So how many palm trees do you have?
1,500 palm tree.
And they were planted when?
10 years.
So they're still pretty young?
Yes, it's still. Yeah, it will get higher.
And citrus?
We do have more than 700 citrus. Do you want to try one?
Yeah, so which one?
Okay, you can choose.
This one?
Yep.
All right.
Mohammed grows many varieties of citrus, including mangoes, lemons, and this fragrant, sweet orange.
I can smell it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Okay. Mmm. Really sweet.
Like sugar. Yeah.
These oranges are a lot easier to enjoy than they are to produce, as the seeds from this variety won't grow in the desert soil. So Mohammed must cut small branches from this tree, then graft them onto stems of other young trees that do grow well here, but only produce sour-tasting fruit when Mohammed hasn't worked his magic.
Okay. And we put which was you choosing? Okay, we put it like this one. Okay, then we type it.
And then
we come this one. This
and that
this
becomes
sweet.
this.
Yes, it is.
And then it becomes sweet.
Yeah.
Old school, but it works.
This region is steeped in history and tradition. But in the short time since Saudi Arabia opened its borders to international visitors, Alula has undergone a radical transformation. Today at Alula, you can find everything from outdoor art exhibits and desert polo matches to world-class performances in the stunning Maraya Concert Hall, the largest mirrored building in the world. Nothing is static in Saudi Arabia, and nowhere is that more evident than 600 miles east of Alula in the thriving metropolis of Riyadh, the political and financial capital of Saudi Arabia. From its soaring skyline, you can see Riyadh has the profile of a modern city, defined by a range of impressive buildings, including the Kingdom Center, which has a sky bridge spanning the gap between its two towers that offers a bird's-eye view of the city. But once you've had your fill of the bright lights in the big city, there's another side of Riyadh that few people know, which is best experienced at sunrise and on two wheels.
Where are we right now?
We're basically on the west edge of Riyadh. At some times of the year, this actually filled with water if there was a big rainstorm.
My riding companion is Travis Honeycutt, an avid American cyclist who came to work in Saudi Arabia more than 10 years ago. And he's taking me to one of his favorite places to enjoy the outdoors.
So this is not just a road, this is a river.
Yeah, if it rained a lot, it actually turns into a small river right here.
It's a wadi.
Yeah, it's a valley in English. And this valley runs the entire length, the western edge of the city. And so it's got this nice, quiet little road, not a lot of cars on it. It's been great for whether people bike, they run, they want to have a picnic or something like that.
Yeah. The 75-mile-long Wadi Hanifa once was a fertile valley that supported many small villages and towns. But as Riyadh's population rapidly grew to over 7 million, the city swallowed up all the other small villages and the Wadi. By the time Travis arrived here in 2012, the Wadi had been transformed into this 31-mile-long river park corridor with 9 new public parks. But Saudi Arabia was still a closed country back then, making it a much different experience than today.
So when you first came here,
yeah,
it had to be a brave new world for you.
Yeah, for Americans, there was no such thing as regular tourism. There was no guidebooks. Why would you write a guidebook if there's no tourism? So I had to figure out where to go, what to do, all from scratch.
You wrote your own guidebook?
Almost, yeah, in my head.
This tranquil valley is still overlooked by many visitors to Riyadh. So Travis has created a pretty good guidebook. He just needs to work out a few more details, such as who owns all the walled-off palaces we keep passing.
Some of them I figured out whose they are, and some of them I have no idea still.
That's part of the mystery.
Yeah. I always hold out hope that they're going to invite me in one day.
Have they done that one yet?
Not on a bike ride.
Travis may not need an invitation, as the most important palace along Wadi Hanifa is being opened up to the public inside the historic city of Dura, the first capital of the Saudi state.
So this is it. This is Dura.
Wow. Amazing. And a work in progress.
Yeah, well, that's Saudi Arabia, right?
Dura is one of 6 mega projects currently underway in Saudi Arabia that include the Red Sea Project and Alula, all part of the Vision 2030 plan to make this country a global destination. The Dura Gate Development Project, led by CEO Jerry Inzerillo, is centered around the excavation and conservation of the ancient mud brick city of At-Turaith, which continues to reveal exciting new discoveries.
We're finding houses, we're finding palaces under the ground, right here in the Wadi Hanifa.
All the time?
Every week.
So every day is a hidden gem?
Yes, this place is very special because Dura is where the kingdom was founded.
After many difficult campaigns to regain control of the territory, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was founded in 1932 by Abdulaziz Al Saud, known to the world as Ibn Saud, a descendant of the Saud dynasty that began here in Dura in the early 1700s, when they established the first Saudi state. Soon after, the royal district of At-Turaith was created, and work began on the expansive Salwa Palace, a 4-story mud brick complex that covers the area of 2 football fields and many other important buildings.
As a matter of fact, the first university, school 300 years ago, boys and girls, first treasury, first bank where that smooth part is there, first school that taught something other than just the Quran, math, reading. So this was a fully functional city 300 years ago.
By the early 1800s, this city had over 30,000 residents, and the first Saudi state was at the height of its power, ruling most of the Arabian Peninsula. This threatened the authority of the Ottoman Empire. So an Egyptian army led by Ibrahim Pasha was sent to regain control of the territory and destroy the House of Saud. And after a 6-month siege, much of this royal district was razed to the ground. This historic district was destroyed and abandoned, but not forgotten. Today, it's being revitalized for a new generation of visitors to Saudi Arabia. But to conserve an ancient mud brick city, you need someone who has a special understanding of how it was actually constructed.
Watch your head, Peter.
And for Dura, that's conservation architect Enjud Al-Anbari.
So what are we seeing here?
We're looking at one of Atref defensive walls facing to the wadi. Mainly, it's made of stone and brick brought from the natural resources that is surrounding this area.
And how old would you say this is?
Between 200 years to 300 years. Now we're digging into the narrative, we're digging into the oral history to figure out the timeline of this area.
You got to connect it.
Exactly, so actually we're investigating, so this what makes this area interesting.
So far, they've determined this was an exterior defensive wall, as it contains more stone, making it stronger than the mud brick structures built inside the wall.
What actually fascinates me is the majesty of these buildings, created by very humble and simple materials worked in different ways. So mainly we are working with stone and adobe, which is made of clay and sand.
And then there's the mud.
Exactly. And what makes a good mud is the fermentation process. It's like baking. So you set clay, which might be like the flour, and then you give it the good ingredients to process the fermentation.
And out of that comes the brick.
Exactly.
And not just one brick, lots of bricks. Their conservation team has been working non-stop, gathering materials and mixing the ingredients to create the essential compound for making traditional bricks.
The mud.
Yes. So now we are in the kitchen.
We're in the kitchen.
Now we can cook.
All right, let's make something.
So mainly this is the frame. We have different sizes.
Right.
So I'm gonna do it for you because I'm gonna let you do the dirty work.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yes, yes,
okay.
Yes. And then we can bring some of the... Yes. I'm gonna help you in that too.
Really? Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, this is delightful.
Yes.
And Jude seems to enjoy working with the fermented mud.
Yes.
But I'm not a big fan of the consistency.
And then we can use some of the water this way.
Just for the hands, okay.
Yeah, same as you're cooking. And then
we're massaging the mud now.
Yeah.
But when in Rome...
There we go. The frosting on the cake.
Well, then we can, if you want to...
Ready? It's ready?
Yes, yes.
Ta-da!
Here you go.
Okay.
Good in this one.
I dare you.
High five.
And how many bricks are you making here?
We can go millions.
Okay, I'm 1 in a million.
I agree.
With millions of these bricks and billions of dollars, the Dura Gate development is creating a destination that celebrates the birthplace of the kingdom in new and unexpected ways. On this trip, I've witnessed how Saudi Arabia is so much more than the stereotype of blazing sun, searing heat, and endless sand. But even so, you shouldn't miss the chance to explore the Arabian Peninsula's expansive sand desert. Covering 250,000 square miles that include the southeastern region of Saudi Arabia, the Rub al-Khali, which means empty quarter, is the largest contiguous sand desert in the world. But it's not really empty, as the Bedouins have been moving through here for thousands of years. However, exploring the empty quarter is still a serious undertaking that requires many days and lots of logistical support. But on the northern edge of the Rub al-Khali is a colorful strip of desert known as the Red Dunes, which offers an incredible experience just an hour outside of Riyadh. You just need to find a local driver with the right car and the right experience.
So how long have you been coming out here?
Since when I was a boy, when I was a kid.
All the time?
Yeah, because it's my favorite, you know?
My driver, Abdulaziz Hijazi, a Palestinian who grew up in Riyadh and has been exploring this desert most of his life.
If you want to feel relaxed, if you have a stress, all the week. I just come here the weekend. There's nobody here.
Nobody
just
here.
you and your best friend.
Am I your best friend today?
Yes, sure.
I'm happy to have Aziz as a friend out here, as this is not a place you'd want to be lost or stranded. The empty quarter is one of the hottest and driest regions on Earth. But instead of dwelling on the challenges of this environment, Aziz revels in the beauty of it.
Once you've come here a couple of times, you will love it. You're gonna say, I want to go every day, because you feel relaxed, there's no stress.
No phone.
No phone, no social media. There's no any platform you can use it.
So you better know where you're going.
Yes.
It's clear that Aziz does know where he's going, and he takes you to a favorite spot, high in the dunes, where you can really take it all in. Looking across this vast, ancient desert, it's hard to believe we're less than 60 miles away from nearly 8 million people and the city of Riyadh. And that's part of the magic of Saudi Arabia.
Aziz, I gotta tell you, now I know why we came up here.
Yeah, now you know.
Now I know.
To look out at this endless expanse was a reminder of the remarkable journey I'd taken. From the tenacious warriors and generous flowermen to the disparaged dromedaries that just want a hug.
Yes.
To the devout Muslims who welcomed me into their nightly ritual.
Oh, Allah.
I'd seen history, still alive, and a true oasis. And experienced traditions fiercely maintained.
It fits.
Perfectly.
Where I could be in the middle of nowhere, or in the middle of the action, all in the same day. I'd seen the enduring marks of ancient civilizations, carving their kingdoms out of sandstone, and the promise of the unexplored sea. And now, back to the desert, where I was standing, literally, at the threshold of history, of ancient myths, and stories still waiting to be told. Of a kingdom no longer just anchored in the past, but looking to the future, in hidden Saudi Arabia.